Do you have a fruit tree? Do you feel more confused after watching pruning videos? Pruning has evolved since I started 30 years ago. Stop making the same mistakes and do. When I learned this simple 3-step technique, it immediately cut my pruning time by 80%. And I finally understood why I cut off branches and which branches made all the difference. So the first step is clearing a chimney. Very simple technique, very simple to understand. A chimney, you got a chimney, it's like a pipe that goes around an empty space. This is the inside of your stovepipe, and you have a pipe running all the way along your trunk. And just like a chimney, what does it do? It moves air. Well, that's what you want this to do. You want it to move air so that the core of the tree stays drier. You also want it to bring light. So it's a conduit for light and air. Both are important. Light will stimulate new branches where it's needed. So that's the why of clearing a chimney. What is clearing a chimney? I like to use my hand as a measure first. So I just put my hand over the branch and I take off anything that is not the main branch. What's the main branch? I consider a branch anything that's grown at least a foot in a year. So if this was on the trunk, this is more than a foot or 30 centimeters, I would leave it. Why? Because it could be a good future branch. But that's step 2. We're not there yet. So in this case, this is the main branch. This is the trunk. But I have a small branch here on it. I don't want it. It's in my chimney. So I just cut it off. Keep going. This one, clear. No problem. This next one, clear. No problem. This one, oh, not clear. There's a couple of little branches. This one, yes, that's in my chimney. Take it off. Okay. And you go boom, boom, boom up the tree, clearing a chimney. Is that hard? What does it do? Well, it stimulates the tree on the core to regenerate branches if needed, and it gives it air. You say, well, okay, but the books didn't tell me that. The other videos don't say that. I know there's a lot of misinformation or telephone effect information over the years. Look, I would say whatever you read or listen to, make sure that the people telling you that have actually done what they're saying and done enough of it to understand. I'm not saying it's all bad. I'm saying pruning has evolved. There are new techniques. There are new knowledge that has come around in the last 30 years. That is so much better than what was done before. The chimney is the first step. If you want to learn the fine details of pruning and training your trees, check out our pruning course at permaculture.study and start today for free. Step 2 in the process is selecting 12 to 15 branches. Why 12 to 15? You don't need more than that many to give you a full production of fruit in your fruit tree. If you count your tree, chances are you'll have more than 12 to 15. So that gives you an option. Not bad to have more, it's options. Then you'll choose which ones to remove. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's count this one. So we got 1, 2, 3, one behind 4, 5, 6, and then we go higher. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 branches. We got 19 on this tree. Do we have more? Yes, we have more. So we'll be able to take some out. But which ones? 3 simple acronyms. LBL. Low branches, big branches, and line branches. How do you know? Yeah, the simple one is don't worry about the low ones. Keep a couple. If you have low branches, well, how do you know what's low? It's 4 feet and under. If it's 4 feet and under, they're in the low. Technically, you could remove them, but I don't remove them anymore because I get rabbits and I get voles that will chew the tree. But if they have branches, they'll chew the branch. And those are my sacrifice branches. I leave them for them. So leave a couple of branches low, always good insurance. Then the second one is big, LBL, big. Or you could just say BL. Big is, what's big? How do you know if it's a big branch? Where it attaches, so where a branch is attached to the trunk, just look. If it's 50% or more the diameter of the trunk where it's attached, then it's a big branch. Measure it. If that's this much, and your trunk, obviously that's not 50%. But when you get to half, you'll see that branch is half the size of the tree trunk at that point of attachment. It's a pretty good measure, and chances are if you have that, that big branch is actually up. It's trying to be a tree. It's trying to replace the top. That's a good candidate to remove. Yes, it's a big cut, but it makes a big difference in your tree. So take off the big branches, and you may want to limit, if you have a lot of big branches, then start with the big ones that are the highest up. You may have one that's really like this. You may have one that's about like this. So start with that. Don't take off more than 2 big branches in a year, because if you remove all of your big branches, you will throw your tree out. You don't want to take off more than 30% of the volume, or 1/3 of the volume of the tree in any one year. Third one is the branches that are in the line. How do you know if it's in the line? Well, I have a line here, a row of trees. So a line is any branch that I've got heading right into that tree next to it, or right out into the aisle. So kind of a 90-degree, either there or there. Those I don't want. What I do want is branches that are out like an X pattern, this way and the same on the other side, so that it leaves room between trees to have other branches. Always keep in mind, do you want a tree or do you want fruit? You want to finish off with branches that are at or below horizontal. That's what you want to end up with, but you may not get there in a year. Chances are it'll take you 3 years to get to branches that are fruit bearing, not tree branches, but fruit branches, and just focus on those. The third step, already at the third step, is a final polish of your branches. Now that you're down to 12 to 15 branches, we haven't even touched on the branch, which is where people spend most of their time telling you to prune. No, this part is so easy you could do it blindfolded. What do I mean? You take your hand and run it underneath a branch. And yeah, with my eyes closed, you just follow the main branch, and anywhere you hook onto something, I remove. Well, the nice thing about the polish is once your branches are down as fruit branches and you've done the polish, you only need to do this about every 5 years, because the branches take a while. What's left takes a while before they migrate back underneath the branch. Beautiful step, but you do want to clean it up. So very easy. Same with this one. I could run my hand, do it blindfolded, run my hand. Whoop, here's one. So what do? You have to cut it. No, you don't have to cut it. I can just snap it off. And I can come in and whoop, here's another one. I can snap that off. Here's another one, snap that off. And go all the way, whoop, here's another one. Why do I do it getting what's underneath? Because they're already shaded by the branch. They're underneath. They're not going to give you as good a fruit because they don't have the amount of light needed. They won't be as colorful. They won't even be as big. So take those branches off. Leave the ones that are above, that are getting full sun. And you don't mess with the whole thing of the branch. Let it go. Let it produce. Let it flower. Let it fruit. The weight of the fruit will make your branches go down. It's such a simple 3-step. You see, we're already finished the 3rd step. Go along each of your remaining branches, and because you only have 12 or 15, you don't have a lot to do. Go under, close your eyes, just take it, break it off, and you're done. That's the simplicity of this 3-step technique, that you could do 2 of the steps every 5 years. Do your chimney and do your polish, and you're good for about 5 years before you even have to touch it up again. And then you're left with selecting your branches. Well, how many new branches are you going to have? If you've kept your tree to 12 to 15, you're not going to have a crazy amount of branches. Applying this simple 3-step technique, it will absolutely revolutionize your pruning. And there's so many other details that you could get into. Check out my pruning course at pruningcourse.com. And you could start for free today. Just check it out. See, is there anything more? But apply these 3 techniques to start pruning your fruit tree in a way that's transformative.